There's a financial threshold that separates struggling from stable, and most people never cross it. $50,000 in net worth. This is the point where you transition from living paycheck to paycheck to having real financial breathing room. It's not enough to retire, it's not financial independence, but it's the moment when money stress begins to fade and options start to appear. At $50,000, you have roughly 12 to 18 months of expenses covered, assuming $3,000 to $4,000 monthly expenses, which means job loss isn't catastrophic, emergencies don't destroy you, and you can start thinking strategically instead of reactively. I'm Kyle, and today I'm breaking down why $50,000 is the most important early milestone, what changes when you hit it, how long it takes to get there, and what you need to do differently once you cross this threshold. If you're grinding toward financial stability, this is the target that matters most. It's the foundation everything else builds on. Let's dive in. The $50,000 rule is simple. Once you have $50,000 in net worth, cash, investments, minus debt, you've crossed from financial fragility into financial stability. Below $50,000, you're vulnerable. One emergency, medical bill, car breakdown, job loss, can send you spiraling into debt. You're reactive, stressed, and constantly worried about money. But at $50,000, you have a buffer. That emergency fund covers 12 to 18 months of living expenses, giving you runway to handle crises calmly. Your investments are starting to compound meaningfully. $50,000 at 8% generates $4,000 annually, which isn't life-changing, but it's real. You're no longer living paycheck to paycheck. You have options. You can quit a toxic job, negotiate harder, take a lower-paying role you enjoy, or weather a recession without panic. This is the inflection point where financial stress decreases dramatically and strategic thinking becomes possible. Most people never reach $50,000 because they inflate lifestyle, carry debt, or never prioritize saving. But those who do discover that wealth building accelerates from here. Here's why $50,000 matters more than other early milestones. At $10,000, you have a basic emergency fund, 3 to 4 months of expenses, which protects you from immediate disaster but doesn't provide real security. At $25,000, you're halfway there, and compounding is starting to show, but you're still vulnerable. At $50,000, you've built a true foundation. You're not wealthy, but you're stable. You can survive 12 to 18 months without income. You can handle multiple emergencies back to back. You have mental bandwidth to think long-term instead of just surviving day to day. Psychologically, $50,000 is the moment when you stop feeling broke and start feeling secure. Financially, it's the point where compounding begins to feel significant. $4,000 a year in passive growth is noticeable. Strategically, it's the launch pad. People who reach $50,000 often accelerate to $100,000 within 3 to 5 years because momentum is established, habits are solidified, and confidence is built. $50,000 is the threshold that separates strugglers from builders. Let's talk timelines. How long does it take to reach $50,000 in net worth? If you save $500 a month at 7% returns, it takes about 6.5 years. If you save $1,000 a month, it takes 3.8 years. If you save $1,500 a month, it takes 2.8 years. The pattern's clear. Higher savings rates dramatically compress the timeline. Most people in their 20s and 30s earning $50,000 to $70,000 can realistically save $800 to $1,200 a month if they live modestly and avoid debt. That means reaching $50,000 by their late 20s or early 30s is achievable. The keys are start immediately, automate savings, avoid lifestyle inflation, eliminate debt, and increase contributions annually. Most people never hit $50,000 because they delay starting, save inconsistently, or inflate lifestyle as income grows. But those who prioritize it aggressively can cross this threshold in 3 to 5 years. And once you do, the next $50,000 comes faster because compounding is working and habits are established. Here's what changes once you hit $50,000. First, financial anxiety drops dramatically. You're no longer one crisis away from disaster. You have runway, which creates calm. Second, you gain career flexibility. You can quit toxic jobs, negotiate harder, or take career risks because you have 12 to 18 months of security. Third, decision quality improves. When you're not in survival mode, you make better choices, strategic instead of desperate. Fourth, compounding becomes visible. Watching $50,000 grow to $54,000 in a year without effort is motivating and reinforces good habits. Fifth, you shift from defense to offense. Below $50,000, you're protecting against disaster. Above $50,000, you're building toward wealth. Sixth, confidence replaces doubt. You've proven you can build net worth, which changes your self-perception and what you believe is possible. Seventh, momentum accelerates. Getting to $50,000 is hard. Getting from $50,000 to $100,000 is easier and faster because systems are in place. Let's break down what you need to do to reach $50,000. First, eliminate all high-interest debt. Credit cards, personal loans, payday loans, these destroy wealth building. Pay them off aggressively before anything else. Second, build a $5,000 to $10,000 emergency fund in a high-yield savings account. This protects you from derailing progress when emergencies hit. Third, automate savings. Set up automatic transfers from checking to investment accounts on payday. $500, $1,000, whatever you can afford. Make it non-negotiable. Fourth, invest in low-cost index funds. Don't try to pick stocks or time markets. S&P 500 or total market index funds at 7 to 10% average returns will get you there. Fifth, increase contributions annually. Every raise, bonus, or windfall should increase your savings rate. Sixth, avoid lifestyle inflation ruthlessly. As income grows, spending should stay flat. Seventh, track net worth monthly. What gets measured gets managed. Eighth, cut one major expense, housing, transportation, or subscriptions, and redirect that money to savings.
Here's the math of acceleration. Going from $0 to $50,000 investing $1,000 per month takes 3.8 years. But going from $50,000 to $100,000 with the same contributions takes only 3.2 years. Why? Because your $50,000 is now generating $4,000 a year in returns at 8%, which adds to your $12,000 a year in contributions, $1,000 a month, giving you $16,000 a year in total growth. You're no longer the only engine. Your capital is contributing too. From $100,000 to $150,000 takes 2.5 years. From $150,000 to $200,000 takes 2.2 years. The timeline compresses exponentially because compounding dominates over time. This is why the first $50,000 is the hardest and most critical. It's the filter that separates people who stay broke from people who build wealth. Most quit before $50,000 because progress feels slow. But those who persist discover that wealth building becomes easier, not harder, after this point. Let's address the obstacles. I can't save $1,000 a month. I have bills, debt, and expenses. This is the most common objection. But most people have $300 to $500 a month in waste, dining out, subscriptions, oversized housing, car payments they can't afford. Audit ruthlessly and cut. If you truly can't reach $1,000 per month, start with $500. The timeline extends, but you'll still get there. But I have student loans or credit card debt. Pay minimums on low-interest debt, under 5%, while investing. Attack high-interest debt, over 7%, aggressively before investing. What if markets crash? You're investing for decades, not months. Short-term volatility doesn't matter. Stay invested and keep contributing. What if I need the money? Keep 3 to 6 months in a liquid emergency fund. The rest stays invested. These objections are valid but solvable. The real question is, how badly do you want to escape financial fragility? Let's compare two people. Person A earns $60,000 a year, spends $58,000, and saves $2,000 annually. After 10 years, they have $28,000, assuming modest returns. They're still financially fragile, stressed, and one crisis away from disaster. Person B earns $60,000 a year, spends $48,000, and saves $12,000 annually. After 4 years, they have $53,000. They've crossed the $50,000 threshold. They're stable, calm, and positioned to accelerate to $100,000 within 3 more years. Same income, same job, same opportunities. But person A prioritized lifestyle. Person B prioritized stability and wealth. Person A will likely spend decades struggling. Person B is on a trajectory to financial independence by their 40s or 50s. The difference isn't income. It's discipline during the critical first 3 to 5 years. One treated savings as optional, the other treated it as mandatory. That choice determined everything.
Once you hit $50,000, your strategy shifts slightly. Below $50,000, you're in pure accumulation mode. Maximize savings, minimize expenses, stay aggressive. Above $50,000, you're in acceleration mode. Maintain contributions, but also start optimizing. This means, first, ensure you're investing tax efficiently. Max out 401k matches, Roth IRAs, and HSAs. Second, consider diversifying slightly. If you're 100% stocks, maybe add a small bond allocation, 10 to 20%, or real estate exposure. Third, protect your downside. Get adequate insurance, health, auto, renters, or homeowners. One uninsured disaster can erase years of progress. Fourth, avoid the temptation to inflate lifestyle. Many people hit $50,000 and think, I've made it, I can spend more. This is a trap. Treat $50,000 as a checkpoint, not a finish line. Fifth, set your next target, $100,000. Calculate how long it'll take and reverse engineer the contributions needed. The momentum you've built at $50,000 should carry you to $100,000 faster and easier. The people who reach $50,000 quickly and never look back share specific traits. They start investing in their early 20s, even with tiny amounts. They automate everything, so discipline isn't required. They live well below their means and resist lifestyle inflation. They track net worth monthly and adjust strategies quarterly. They avoid debt obsessively. No credit card balances, no car loans, no unnecessary borrowing. They invest in boring, low-cost index funds and ignore market noise. They cut one major expense category, housing, transportation, or discretionary spending, and redirect the savings. They increase contributions with every raise. They stay invested during crashes and buy more when prices drop. They're patient, consistent, and relentless. By their late 20s or early 30s, they've hit $50,000. By their late 30s or early 40s, they're approaching $250,000 to $500,000. By their 50s, they're millionaires. The difference between them and everyone else isn't intelligence or luck, it's intensity and consistency over 3 to 5 years to cross the $50,000 threshold. At the core, $50,000 is the threshold that separates financial fragility from financial stability. Below it, you're vulnerable, stressed, and reactive. Above it, you're stable, calm, and strategic. It's not wealth, but it's the foundation wealth is built on. Start today. Calculate how much you need to save monthly to reach $50,000 in 3 to 5 years. Automate that contribution immediately. Cut one major expense and redirect it to investments. Eliminate high-interest debt. Track net worth monthly, and commit to crossing this threshold no matter what. Tell me in the comments, how close are you to $50,000 in net worth? And what's one expense you'll cut this week to accelerate progress? This is the milestone that matters. This is the foundation. Let's cross it together.